Hey everybody, this is Kendall. I wanted to give people a sneak peek into this game I'm working on called Office Quest. It's entered into the in-hand game design contest on Board Game Geek. It's very much a work in progress, so things are definitely going to change. But anyway, I'll include a link to the work in progress thread on Board Game Geek. And this game takes a lot of inspiration from another game called Barbarian Vince. And it's pretty cool. So if you're curious and you want to see that, I'll have a link to Barbarian Vince also. So this game is a solo choose your own adventure style card game with an office setting. And in this game, you're an office worker who's drawn into a hidden layer of reality where ordinary office supplies become artifacts of power and office hazards are epic fantasy adventures. So you navigate through the encounter deck and you advance your way through the main office on this side, and then through the dusty and dark Annex Section to ultimately face off against the Data Kraken before its corruption overtakes the network and ultimately the world. Component-wise, it's 27 cards. They're all double-sided. There's 18 encounter cards, and there's no images here. Mostly it's text. We've got 6 location cards. There's a round tracker card. These are the location cards. I'll tell you more about those in a minute. There's a round tracker card. There's a stats card here and a map card. So to play, you'll need the cards, but you also need a binder clip and 4 paper clips, 3 on this side, 1 on the back. So that's one of the features of this game, is that it uses the binder clip and the paper clips to help keep track of things, and it also ties in with that office setting, and hopefully a little less arthritis for an in-hand game. And the goal is that you could be able to put this away and then come back to it later without trying to remember, what location was I in or where certain stats were. Another feature is that the encounter cards are double-sided, and so you have one side for the main office and one side for the annex, depending on where you're at in the map. It is a small font, as you can see, but there's lots of narrative, lots of choices to make, and so I wanted to show the card anatomy a little bit. See how well this will focus. Maybe let's just walk through this example, but you'll notice there's a 1, then there's 2, and then there's 3. The card is designed so that you hopefully don't peek ahead as much. The 1 and the 3 are for this side, but the 2 is on the other side, which will be kind of the skill check or whatnot. Let's read this one. So 1A or B, that's going to be for the main office side. So A or B are these sections. C or D is going to be annex. So on one side you'll have A, B. The other side you'll have C, D here. So, okay, let's read through this. The clock ticks past mid-afternoon. Your energy is waning. You're in need of help, someone to assist in your mission ahead. You have 2 choices: ask around or push through alone. You can't afford to waste time. So right here, you're not meant to peek ahead to see what these scenarios will be, but these checks here are for the other side anyway. So I don't know. Let's push through alone. We're not going to waste time. So you would look at this. Z, you're going to go to 2 on the other side, 2Z. Now there is an A underlined and then there's a B underlined. That just adds a little difficulty if you're, so we're in the main office. Are we up in this section or are we a little further along in the game? So yeah, let's say we're in the A section. You actually have a choice. One of these is more of a sure win versus one is more of a random check. So you can, in this case, use one wild item or two of any items, or you can do a wild check. So in this example, if these are the items we have, there's three kinds plus a wild. We don't have any wild, so we could discard or use both of these items and we would pass the check. Or in this case, let's try the wild check. Basically, we won't have wilds to add, but we're gonna go for a random 4 or higher. So what you do is it's the every side of each card has a die value. When it's random, that means it's the back side of the following encounter card, and you don't, discard that card. You put things back the way they were. Essentially, you don't do anything special to mess up its position. So we're just going to look at the next card. Backside is a 3. All right, so we're at a 3. We need to be at a 4. We don't have any wilds we can add, so we will fail this. So we are in the Z element here. So you flip it over to the third side, 3Z. All right, so pass. This is what would have happened. You take a moment and get yourself refocused, but you realize you're better off working solo for now. You would add 3 karma. Ultimately, though, we failed. Our body aches and our focus drifts. We search the deck for Afternoon Slump and add to your hand -1 energy. All right, so let's talk about your stats a little bit first. So the binder clip helps keep things together, but it also serves as your health counter. So just where the center of this is, you start at 4, you start at 4, energy, you start at 4, and then memos, you start at 1 here. So if we lost an energy, we would move this up to the 3. And then one of the ideas here is that this number below the health is how much karma you can get after your turn as a refresh or a replenish. So after my turn, I've got 4 health, I would get 2 karma, scaled so that as you lose health, you could maybe have a little bit of a catch-up mechanism there. So we search the deck. You would flip these over and you would look for the Afternoon Slump. It's going to be in black like this. Okay, so I found Afternoon Slump. We'll add this to our hand, and the one thing that you add differently, items just go face up like this, and they give you, these are bonuses. Allies or curses, this is a curse. This is going to go sideways, and you can store it in here with your binder clip. But this one, the Afternoon Slump, is that your brainy icons can't be used until you read the word coffee or brew on an encounter card. And then that's when this will go away. On every card that has a curse, there's an opposite side that there will be an ally. This is the Lost Intern Ned. You get extra energy for exact skill checks, and he leaves if you ever lose a memo. So this would go here, kind of as a face up, and you would basically get this +1 brainy. So the icons themselves, for bonuses, you have these items, Scissors of Severing, Highlighter of Hidden Truth, They've got different abilities to them, but there's brainy, thinking smarts. You've got savvy, which is a little more like your skills or your attack. And then there's also sneaky. So brainy, savvy, sneaky, and then there's wild as well. So I try to have some choices here. So you have your pass fail, and in this case, that's what happened. Per turn, you have the option to obtain an item, and you have the choice between the top discard, which will be just at the very back of your deck here, or the top current encounter card. And you have your premium items with a dot, and the other side will be a basic item. So the basic items cost less, and then you can upgrade them later by flipping them over so that you can have more abilities if you choose. So one of the features that I like about this game is that you have lots of different checks. So you can have, in that scenario that we just played, you have you had the check which was wild icons. There are some checks in here where you are, looking at, in this one you have a random roll to set a trap, and then a random roll again to see if it's higher to trap something. And the other part of this I like is that based on what quadrant you're in, a C or a D, it can be harder. You're further into the office setting as you're getting closer to the end. And then where you have the dice on both sides, there are a couple of options here where, for instance, you have a brainy check of 3 or more low. That means on the following card, you look at both front and back die values and whatever the lowest is. So this low is going to be harder. Then you have high, so it would be the higher of the two values, or you have random, which is just the back side. So I like that there's skill checks that way, and there's also, not just the brainy check or the savvy check, but that you could have a stamina check. How much energy do you have plus a random, or how much luck do you have, which is, like your karma level plus a random. Or how many, your intel check, which could be how many memos you have plus a random. So I think that's a cool idea. I already talked about gaining an ally or a curse. There's a limit to 2 cards that can be stored that way. And they have, so you would have 1, and then the following card would be out like this. So it will stick out a little bit more. So part of this game is you're trying to advance your location, because you go down through here and then around, and then you end up at the end in the server room. To do that, you have to advance locations. To do that, it's 2 energy and discarding 2 items of the same kind, or 3 of any items type. So yeah, you would decrease your energy 2, you would discard 2 of a kind, and then you could change locations. But speaking of locations, starting the game, you start with in the reception desk, and you'll actually make a choice. I have it right here in between these cards. You end up making a choice of which path you're going to take. And depending on that choice, it might, in this case, it says next is the conference room. So if I ever set the game down and I pick it up later, I won't have to remember, was I on my way to the conference room? I have that. So the conference room is right here. When I get to that, I will go to the back. These are cards just kind of stored in the back, and you go from green to yellow to orange to red. So of the yellow, you're only going to have one of these as part of your game. So you have the copy room, the break room, or the other sides, you have the stairwell or the conference room. So when I get to the conference room, I would pull this card out. This would be the specific encounter that I read while I'm there. It'll have a pass and a fail. And then I'll have the choice to continue either toward the maintenance elevator or the other side, which is the back hallway. And whatever choice that I have, I will store it on top of the green one so that as I approach, or if I ever set the game down, I can just look at that top card and I can see, oh yeah, I was heading toward the back hallway. When I get to the back hallway, which is right here, I will again kind of pause. I'll go to the back here and I'll pick up one of these orange cards. Let's see, so the back hallway is right here. I will read through the encounter, and then I'll have either the next path is the server room, but there will be two options to attack the Data Kraken at the end. So am I going to use IT intel for my attack, or am I going to do more of a direct attack on this side? I will make a choice, and that will become the next location card. All right, so the next location card, it's saying, yes, I'm on my way to the server room, and then I have a direct attack. And then as you get to the server room, that will be this red card. And one side is the IT intel battle. The other side is the direct confrontation battle. And each one has a little bit of a different flavor, just to try to add some variety. But one thing that I think is fun is that these three cards, once you have the green, yellow, and orange together, on the bottom you're going to see these Sacred TPS report, spray of sanitizing. There's only going to be one item in common across these three. And in this case, all right, which one is it? Okay, it's the label maker of distinction. That's the only one in common here. That's the special magical item that will help you more in that final battle. So as you're progressing, it's also a little bit of deduction. You're figuring out, of these four, one of these is going to be special. As you get the next one, there's, say 2 in common, and then you get to the third one, and you'll know what that special one is. So the back side of the map, when you get to the server room, you will have your paper clip over here. You'll get to the server room. You'll actually flip this card over for your final battle, and you'll start on this left side to make hits. And for every successful hit, you can advance the tracker to defeat the Data Kraken. But you do have a time limit. There's a round tracker, so that as you are playing, this way, as you're playing with the encounters, and you're discarding to the back, and eventually you're going to get to the round tracker, this gray card here. So as part of your setup, you'll put this in the back, and with the one facing upward. And as you get here, you'll have a little bit of a narrative to read. You'll rotate the card to the number 2, put that in the back. As that comes up, you'll advance it to the 3, and then finally to the 4. If it gets to the 4, it will say you have 3 more encounter cards and then you've lost. So it's like if you get to this, you're about to end. So you need to get there before that. And then your location cards I just talked about, those are stored behind this just as a place to keep them. And that's essentially the game. So you have your main stats, but you also have time as a currency. So some encounters you'll lose time. And anyway, I want to say thanks for taking a look so far. I am really excited about how this is coming together. So I'm looking for input on how I can, improve it. If you like cool things like this game, hit subscribe. I share design ideas here when I can. You can also check out the work in process thread and the Barbarian Vince game that I had inspiration from. So I'm interested in feedback either here on YouTube or on Board Game Geek. All right, we'll see you.